Today we have another Miniverse Make It Mini Food Cafe Series 3 eggs, and I have opened this bin before, and it's the mango lollies. Now the reason I had to put this to one side was because there was a problem with the resin and it simply wouldn't cure. And I gather quite a few people were having problems with this particular resin, and it was just too opaque. So I added some more transparent resin to it in order to get it to cure under the UV light. So I'm going to try again and see what happens today. See if I've added enough transparent resin to get it to actually cure. So we shall see. We have the mould, and it's a 2-part mould. We have the sorry, it's a 3-part mould actually. There's the actual mould itself, which I won't pull apart because it was a bit of a finicky mould to start with, quite leaky. There's the lid for the lollipop sticks, which we have here. Strawberry pieces, which hopefully we've got enough of because, like I said, we've tried this once already. The resin, which is supposed to be the mango juice, and a nozzle to be able to guide it into the mould with some kind of precision. And the very leaky mould. Oh, where do we start with this one? So hopefully we can get it in here today without needing, 5 pairs of hands like last time. So let's go. So like last time, I'll add a little bit of resin in here and just get it going. So we'll cure a little bit. And if you've built one of these up already, you'll see that the resin is more transparent than what you'll have seen already. Hopefully I've not just added too much there. I'll just pop a slice in there and move it towards one of the edges where you can see it. And I'm going to give that a quick moment under the light quickly before it moves too much in that mould. So last time it didn't cure at all. We'll see what it's like in there now. Unfortunately, this camera is trying to focus on my hand and not the mould. Bear with me. So it is solid in there now. So what we'll do now is we'll add some more juice in there, and the rest of the fruit and the sticks. Get that solidified and call it done. I didn't add the nozzle in the end because I decided just to give it a go because the resin should be a lot less viscous now that I've added some more transparent resin to it. So let's give this a go. We'll add the rest of this resin. Just bear with me regarding the background noise because since I started doing this, the neighbours have decided to start hacking up the patio. So there's now a pneumatic drill going on next door. So again, I'm just push those strawberries to the outside edge. And by curing the first third or so of the mould, you've given these sticks something to rest on whilst you cure the rest of the mould. And it does seem to be holding together a lot better than last time in terms of leakage. I think there is a slight bit of leakage maybe at the top. But yeah, it's definitely holding together better. So we'll cure that. So while that finishes curing in the corner there, I'll just explain what I did in terms of the resin. I had about a third of a container of the original juice resin left as it was provided by Miniverse. I poured that into my mixing container, which is just a regular silicone container, and added to that a couple of drops of just a regular transparent pigment dye and some cheap UV resin which I got from Amazon. This is a specific resin that I used. It is available as well on Temu for about £1 or £2 cheaper for this 500-gram container. So it's not an expensive one. It's a fairly low concentration that I added to this original container. Basically mixed it up in there, added it back to there. And it's provided a fairly nice looking product in my opinion. You can see that you can see the original strawberries very well in there. And I think it is curing nicely. I do think it's taking a little bit longer than some of the more transparent resins. I mean, it is still quite opaque. I am going to give it the full 5 minutes in there. So I'll catch up with maybe a little bit longer than 5 minutes, given that it still feels a little bit soft. So we'll give it a bit longer. I'll catch up with you at the end with a better review. Now with the previous resin, when you checked this inside the mould, it was very definitely still soft. And there was a lot of trepidation having a look. I do think it's not quite solidified in the middle. I do think if I'd used my own mix from the start, it would have been solidified by now. If you look just here, if you look just there, you may be able to see an air bubble appearing. That would suggest that it's not entirely solidified in the middle there. What I might do is take it out of the mould and then pop it back under, because I think it's solidified enough that we can take it out of here. Yeah. So let's take it out and then we'll pop it back under. As you can see, there's still quite a bit of clean up to do on the mould, but it's at least the resin stayed within the confines of the mould, which it didn't the first time I tried using this mould, which was really strange because the resin itself was a lot more viscous the first time that I used it, you know, with the original recipe as supplied by Miniverse. So let's just give that another couple of minutes so we're, you know, away in the corner, and we'll catch up again in a moment. That feels a lot better now. Yeah, it doesn't feel soft in the centre now. Okay, so let's just clean up those edges and we'll call it done. The cleanup that's my fault's this bit right at the top edge where I've overfilled it. This is when some safety glasses are ideal, by the way. Just to let you know the type of thing that I wear. It is just some wraparound goggle style ones. These are prescription ones, by the way. Just not particularly expensive ones, about £100. You can get them via your optician. And I'm going to call that quits now, before I slice off a fingertip. Right. Let's call that done. And I do think the final result is actually rather nice, to be fair. There we go. I think the end result's good. I'm quite pleased with that, actually. It just took a little bit of work around, which is a shame that Miniverse hadn't actually sorted that out. I don't know what happened during the product testing phase, whether they actually tested it at all, because I do think this is the kind of problem that should have been spotted during the product testing. But there you go. Fairly enjoyable project.